Ladies and gentlemen, good day! Standing before you is Gozon, and I am with Miss April Jane Verterra and Leslie Velarde. And for today's discussion, we will going to tackle about lesson 3.4, entitled Developing Electronic Materials for Language Teaching. But first thing first, I'm gonna give you some questions for you to ponder on as we go along with our discussion for today. So for you, what is the impact of electronic materials in learning the second language? And being a member of the Gen Z population of learners, can you live your life with the absence of electronic materials towards your academic endeavor? And now, since we are talking about electronic materials, what is electronic materials in the first place? The term electronic materials refers to materials that has been digitally processed, so that the user is able to access it through a single source, usually a computer. Take note that there are three major interrelated dimensions of electronic materials that has proven beneficial to second language learning. And these are the following. We have the hypermedia, the multimedia, and the communications media. And now, we have Miss Velarde for her discussion about hypermedia. Let us give the floor for Miss Velarde.
The first electronic material that have proven beneficial to language learning is hypermedia. Hypermedia combines a variety of media, text, graphics, still photographs, animations, sound, and video in a nonlinear computer-based environment with which users can interact. Originally, hypermedia was called hypertext. It refers to the capacity to make links between bits of information. Examples of hypermedia are links that view audio, links that view images, links that view videos, hypertext links to other location. The World Wide Web is the best example of hypermedia applications. Through www, it is possible to deliver hypertext, graphics, animation, and sound between different computers. So let's move on to the characteristics of hypermedia. There are three: the learner control, learner wide range of navigation routes, and variety of media. Hypermedia promotes learner control. The learner has a choice on what path, flow, or event of instructions to follow. The learner decides on his or her learning which to take first or what to take. Learner wide range of navigation routes. The learner can choose to speed up or slow down in learning, skip those concepts already learned, or repeat other activities or lessons, all depending on the student. The learner controls the sequence and pace of his path depending on his or her ability and motivation. Variety of media. A hypermedia uses more than one media, but this does not mean it uses all. It only uses those that is necessary. Next are the 5 types of hypermedia systems: tutorial, drills and practice, simulations, instructional games, and problem solving. Tutorial software allows you to create interactive learning tools which help people to learn. Typically, tutorial software can create step-by-step guides which highlight areas of the screen so that the user can follow along and understand the process better. Example of this is mathandscienceforyou.com. Drill and practice. It provides exercises in which students work example items, usually one at a time, and receive feedback on their conversations. The type of responses are simple: yes, no, and try again. It is used as a means to learn new content or to review content. Drill and practice software can fall into one of 3 categories: flashcard activities, branching drills, and extensive feedback activities. Example of these are teachkids.com and callmat.com. Next is simulations, a computerized model of a real or imagined system designed to teach how the system works. Learners usually must choose tasks to do and the other order in which to do them. This is essentially a program that allows the user to observe an operation through simulation without actually performing that operation. Example, explorelearning.com. Instructional games. These increase motivation by adding game rules and or competition to learning activities, often amount to drills or simulations overlaid with game rules. These games consist of fun, interactive, and engaging visuals which stimulate learning. In addition, it promotes healthy learning. The skills are learned in small increments, and it includes encouragement for the student to complete the task. Examples, learning company and achieve.com. Problem solving. By using this, it can improve student engagement and create more interest in the topic or content. And it also makes the learning more meaningful for the students. When the students are engaged in creating a solution to a real-world problem, they take a more vested interest in the process and the learning. Example, PitVit 3D. So here are some hypermedia formats. These are the links that guides you in creating hypermedia messages. Here are contributions of hypermedia to language learning. It promotes collaborative learning which can improve learning efficiency through interactive dialogues, according to Nelson and Palombo in 1992. Hypermedia also enables learners to successfully integrate new knowledge into their original knowledge bases so that learners become decision makers in information processing. Let the knowledge to adapt to people rather than people to adapt to the knowledge base, and make knowledge more accessible to the individual cognitive structure. In this way, learners can choose to follow the locus of explicit chain characterized by clear marks. Hypermedia systems actually provide an effective method of information presentation so that students can construct knowledge from a number of angles. These are the limitations of hypermedia. First, hardware intensity. Second, lack of training. Third, projection needs. Fourth, integration problems and memory and storage problems. That's all for hypermedia. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Miss Velarde, for that comprehensive discussion about the hypermedia. And at this juncture, we have Miss Verterra for her discussion about multimedia. Let's give the floor for Miss Verterra.
Hello everybody, we are now on the second electronic material which has been proven beneficial to second language learning, and that is what we call multimedia. So multi means many or multiple, and media means medium of communication. Multimedia refers to the presentation of information and instruction, and that is through a combination of graphics, audio, text, or video. Oftentimes, multimedia instruction is actually interactive. Now, multimedia has 5 major components, and these are the text, images, sound, video, and animation. While the nodes were originally restricted to pieces of text. Okay, nodes, by the way, are this from the networking sites. I don't know what actually the correct term is, but yes, from the networking sites, which would transmit and or receive information. So like that, the nodes before were kuan lang into pieces of text, but now they can include a variety of media. And first, we have the static text. Now, in the static text, the words or the text will remain static or steady or not moving as a heading or in a line or in a paragraph. The words in the static text are given along with the images to explain about the images. Static texts often give information or support to an image or a video. The second one is the animated text. This refers to letters, words, or paragraphs moving in some fashion across the screen, within an area, or by following a pattern of motion. We are quite familiar with this, diba? Especially when we were in high school, where our teachers would present their lesson through a PowerPoint presentation, and we saw some text there which are moving in some fashion, and we're quite impressed with that, right? So yes, that's an animated text. Now the third one is the sound. Is of course something that we can hear. And now voice. Voice is the sound that is made when people speak or sing. We also have here the still graphics. Still from the word still, which means steady or static or not moving. And these are the photos, illustrations, diagrams, icons, maps, and more. Still graphics often to be of small size. Uh, Somehow they are storage friendly because they do not require a large space from our storage, unlike the animation graphics and or the movies. Now the most popular file formats for still graphics are JPEG and PNG, and I know we are familiar with this now. Now below are examples of still graphics. We also have here the animated graphics. So as what I've said earlier, animated graphics requires more space than the still graphics because these represent a series of still images shown in a quick succession, giving the user the idea of an animation. So if you're familiar with the GIF files or the GIF files, no, we can see this in the Facebook or in Messenger. So that is an example of an animated graphics. And the last one is the video. I know we are very much familiar with this. We can see this in YouTube, Facebook, and other social media sites. Video is defined as the display of recorded event, scene, etc. The powerful way to convey information in multimedia applications is by embedding of video. Okay, so below are links that will help and or guide you in developing a multimedia presentation. Now, let's know about the contributions of multimedia to language learning. Multimedia provides the reader with information in a variety of modalities. On-the-spot help. Computers can make life much easier for the second language readers. The materials developer can insert a variety of tools that can make the process of reading much more smoother. To be specific, if a reader comes across with an unfamiliar word or with an unknown word, the computer can provide quick or on-the-spot assistance. Now, to address the problem of using words to explain words, multimedia offers the possibility of using other modalities as glosses, such as the GALT program. Now, through multimedia also, the readers actively engage with a range of diverse inputs, which all contribute to how they construct each of their own meaning. Well-designed multimedia force the reader to deal with comprehension of a whole message or of a whole lesson at the discourse level. They could fill in gaps, they could reinforce hypotheses, they could identify relationships, and of course they could integrate all the information that they have acquired all throughout that particular topic. The Longman Multimedia Dictionary provides graphics, sound, and video clips to help learners hear a word and see it used in context. Okay, so the multimedia programs and dictionaries I've mentioned earlier, you could just look for it on the internet, research more about it for you to know how it works and how it really helps in second language learning. While yes, multiple sensory inputs or multimedia materials can stimulate learning and or can help students remember the lesson for that day, we have to remember also that poorly designed materials or multimedia materials can really interfere with learning. Therefore, we teachers should really have a good understanding of the nature of the various multimedia elements and or components that I've presented earlier and how they make different contributions to the comprehension process of our students and how they can be productively combined. And that's it for the multimedia electronic material. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Miss Verterra, for that discussion, ma'am. And now I'm going to tackle about the communications media. With the advent of widespread use of local area networking and a World Wide Web, interpersonal communication had become a powerful factor in development of electronic materials. The acronym IT, or the Information Technology, had now been extended to ICT, or the Information and Communication Technology. So communications media can take several forms, and these are the following. First, the email. Email is one of the most important tools which help in learning a second language. Through this application, the learners can receive a lot of information which helps them to learn a new thing. One of the most important advantages of using email is to bring native speakers and second language learners together. So the following are what writers provide as suggestions for some activities which can be used in learning a foreign language through email. First, it could facilitate interaction with others in the target language through a writing medium. This will become a very helpful step to start face-to-face discussion in the classroom. Second, the teachers may use email as pre-class, past class, or supplementary activities. Third, using email among classes can focus on writing and reading and joint production. Lastly, linking students to other native speakers can help develop their language from different sources. And moving on, we have here the interactive display boards, or the so-called bulletin boards. The interactive display board is a serviceable though often neglected adjunct to the language lesson. It can extend classwork by engaging the students' interest in a variety of themes connected with the target language, as well as providing the means of presenting the language as a genuine form of communication. It is one of the supplements to the integration of second language learners in classes of native speakers. Next, we have here the chat rooms. The researchers Lu, Chu, Day, Ong, and Su in the year 2006 treat chat as a means of synchronous, real-time interaction that can be used in an online language classroom to extend the learning process well beyond the traditional four walls of the classroom, and thereby make the learning process more fascinating, exciting, and enriching. So I have here the list of the following characteristics of online chat. First, online chat promotes learners' autonomy by enabling the learner to be in charge of his own learning. Second, it promotes communication skills by allowing learners carry on a conversation, interviewing, or negotiating meaning. Third, it promotes social and socialization skills and proper etiquette, such as greeting others, introducing oneself, live talking, stating and reinforcing one's own ideas, interacting politely and appropriately, showing respect and being responsible, making choices, helping, coaching, and many more. Next is it facilitates interaction and learning with and from people of different cultures who speak different native languages. Then it exposes students to speaking language as it is used by native speakers and allows them to interact in an authentic context with those speakers. Lastly, it provides transcripts for studying the language used or for further analysis of a conversation. And lastly, we have video conferencing. Video conferencing is characterized by Godwin Jones as the people's telephone. Skype is a freeware communication tool which enables voice conversations and provides the opportunity to see one's interlocutor by means of a webcam. And some researchers have pointed out that programs such as Skype can facilitate a partnership between the second language learners and native speakers of the target language, taking into account the possibility of barrier-free communication with people all over the world. Numerous authors considered it to be a perfect tool for promoting intercultural exchanges. Take note that Skype is also popular among teachers who conducts private foreign language lessons. The possibility of reaching a broad range of clients as well as time and money-saving properties encourage more and more language educators to make video conferencing an integral part of their professional practice. So we have here the contributions of communications media in language learning. So communication media platforms like the emails can assist students with literacy and language learning using email exchanges or online writing exercises. It increases the motivation of the students through self-directed and collaborative learning. Using emails, you can send letters, notes, files, data or reports, all using the same techniques. And you don't have to be shy using emails to communicate with anyone. An international custom network and a wealth of resources inspire the introduction of technology to the curriculum. Also, communication media platforms like the chat room became more ubiquitous nowadays and better understood. These factors, plus improved bandwidth, better interfaces, and heightened security, will converge to make it a medium of choice for truly communicative and constructivist language teachers. Whether on independent or complementary basis, these interactions open up and broaden personal, academic, and multicultural contacts and horizons. These allow for a better and more comprehensive awareness of the outside world and generates richer language learning experiences and environments. So when it comes to developing these electronic materials for language teaching, these communication media platforms became an avenue in the academe to foster language teaching and learning towards and among its learners. For example, in this new normal of education, we the learners are now making use of the emails, chat rooms, or even the video conferencing applications to communicate with our teachers and classmates, to express our thoughts and ideas, and even in asking queries towards them. It became very significant in our lives nowadays that our daily routine now is on checking these communication media platforms daily. Unconsciously, it became our new training ground on sharpening our language skills. That even if we are not in a face-to-face class right now, we are still exercising our speaking, reading, viewing, and listening skills, and making us learn a lot of things about the language despite of the situation that we are in right now. So as future language teachers, we have to make use of these communication media platforms in ways that it could help and supplement the language instruction. And the essence of language teaching can still be felt even with this new way of executing it. And that ends our discussion for today. Thanks for watching.